Hey, I'm here after all. Perhaps foolishly, I am trusting the forecast, the hourly forecast, which says we won't get any more rain for an hour or two, which should be long enough for me to get in a walk. So I did not like not walking this morning, and so here I am. It's been raining all morning, you can see, quite wet, but I'm out here anyway. I'm going to take a simple along the creek walk today. Not quite sure which way I'll go here. Maybe I'll go on up the yeah, I don't want to walk along the dike, so I'll go on up here to College and just go straight over to the park. I posted a short video this morning just showing that it was wet and I wasn't going out, but since I've got a break, here I am. Been working away on the Tangled Stars, my novel, next novel this morning, and also doing some editing on a project I've been working on for a long time now with a writer who came to me when I was writer-in-residence in Saskatchewan, and I'm still helping him with his very interesting Second World War themed project. Yeah, I hope he ends up with a finished book and gets it published. I think it's a very worthwhile and interesting project. One good thing about this weather is I can see the screen, so if you happen to catch me in live and want to leave a comment, do. If you're on Facebook, let me know if you can hear me. Yesterday and again this morning when I did my little short bit, it did not have sound, so that's annoying. Yesterday I did that walk with all the beautiful trees in flower. Hopefully we haven't had rain so hard to knock the blossoms off of the various blooming trees. Not sure how many will pass today. Somebody's doing stucco, new stucco and stuff on that house to my left. Here comes the school bus. Supposed to get more rain tomorrow and more again on Saturday's not supposed to be too much, and then more on Sunday. So it's a nice wet weekend coming up, which, well, nice from the point of view of farmers and, you know, all of us try to grow things. Not that we do that very much, but we do have a little bit of grass, and we have something called a veg truck in the back where we grow flowers. We just got that last year, and some vegetables, well, tomatoes, you know. It's not like we're trying to feed ourselves. Unfortunately, this is also the Victoria Day weekend, which means people will be wanting to camp. And it may not be too nice for that. The temperature, by the way, is 3 degrees. When I was walking on Saturday or Sunday, it was 28, and it went up to 30 and a bit over on Monday, I guess that was. So we've seen a or maybe Tuesday, we've seen a drastic change. And there is snow in the province. We haven't seen it. Could tonight, as it gets colder. It is supposed to dip below freezing tonight. Just walking along College here now. Everything nice and green, but a little gray today. Say hi if you happen to catch me live. I didn't think I'd be taking a walk, but I saw my chance and I have grasped it. And I hope I don't regret it by getting rained on before I get home. Which is certainly not impossible. Oof, unstable internet connection. Right here, one of the main strips. Residential area. There should be no weak signals here. It's so annoying. I don't know if it's my phone. Again, it might be humidity. I've got to keep an eye on it. Yesterday, the YouTube feed failed twice, and I didn't even notice it the second time. I restarted once, and it continued to struggle and went down again, and I missed the message. So I do get a message when the YouTube fails, as I'm supposed to. Oh well, I'm recording it. Oh, I'm gonna race with this robin down here. Taking my robin for a walk. I win. So I'm wearing my hat, not my hat, but I'm wearing my coat, my jacket, and gloves, which I really thought I was done with. I didn't put my hat on, but it is chilly enough I could have. I just figure I'll warm up enough as I walk. I won't want that. Interviewing somebody tomorrow for the podcast, and this weekend there'll be a new episode of the World Shapers podcast, featuring Jane Yeoman, who's 400 book author of all sorts. She does picture books as well, so some of those are really short, but still, I have 60 some books, and some of mine are really short too. I still claim them because they're books. It's just misleading if you think they're like 60 epic fantasy novels big enough to stop a door. Just sort of doing the reverse of what I did on Monday, which is my sort of standard walk along the creek. Still going to walk along the creek, but it'll be the return half of the trip will take me along the creek. And we'll take a little side trip just to walk on a different piece of sidewalk. Senior Citizens Center, not surprisingly closed until further notice. I don't think I've ever been in this. Maybe once I was at an annual meeting or something that was in this little building. The sidewalk closely follows the wall. This would be the front entrance, I guess. There, wasn't that exciting? Oh, this must be the main entrance. No? Maybe? Yes? No? No? I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I've ever been in there. This is just a maintenance building of some sort. Stay on the sidewalk. Last thing I want to do is step in a puddle, or a poodle, as I always said when I was walking with Alice when she was little. Watch out for the poodles. Art Gallery of Regina. Are they open again? Nobody said hello yet, but if you're there, please do. This one is a very unusual time, and I had said earlier I wasn't doing it, so complete surprise even to me. This particular walk. But it's nice to, you know, get away from that boring blue skies and sunshine most walks take place in, at least since the snow melted. There's the giant beaver I walked by earlier in the week, going the other direction. If you are on Facebook in particular, and you can hear me, let me know. If you can't hear me, well, you probably won't let me know because you didn't just hear me ask you to let me know. But I would like to know if there's sound on Facebook today. Again, it's nothing I do. It's always the same process, and sometimes Facebook works, mostly it works, and yet some days, for no reason I can tell, I am a silent walker. It sounds like something out of Game of Thrones. They come behind the snow walkers. It is actually cool enough. I kind of wish I had my hat on. Too awkward to put it on when I'm walking. The breeze is sharp. You can probably hear it. A couple more weeks I should have my external mic, and my sound may much improve then once I start using that. It should. Otherwise, why am I spending that money? There have been other occasions when I wished I'd had a lapel mic, which is what this is, for recording things. So I think it will help on the walks, but it's also very useful for other purposes. This one just plugs into the lightning port on the phone, and then it's a wireless mic, and I think it's good for a considerable distance. So, you know, you can set the camera on a tripod and move around a room or something while talking, which I can almost imagine being useful at some point, maybe to do a school presentation or something. Although hopefully next year I'm doing school presentations in person at schools. These trees still have a ways to go budding out. These little ones, but they're getting there. Everything's looking much greener with the rain. Even in the clouds, it looks greener. I'm glad he didn't go through the puddle. He could have splashed me if he was mean. Some of the flowering trees I can see look a little drab, as if they've lost some blossoms from the rain. They never last very long around here. They'll be at their peak, and then there's a heavy downpour or a high wind, and they're gone. So I'm glad yesterday's walk I saw quite a few of them kind of in full bloom. So the song running through my head today, and I have no idea why, is what is it? ceremonial song. Oh, I think I know what it is. I think it's the national anthem of the Soviet Union. Don't ask me why. We played that in high school band. I don't know if it's because our teacher was a closet communist or what, but we did. And then it came up in For All Mankind, where we are in the second season. They're working toward Apollo-Soyuz, their version of it, in that alternate history of the space race. And so when the cosmonauts arrived from Russia, the band played the Soviet national anthem. I'm pretty sure that's what that is in my head. I don't know if it's still the Russian national anthem, or if it was just the Soviet national anthem. Don't know. But anyway, pretty sure that's what that was. And I know why, so at least it won't bother me for the rest of the day wondering what that was. Fairly new house, or an older one that's been nicely done up with a nice view of the park there. Because it's a bit of a dip down to the river, so it's not exactly a valley, but it's kind of a valley. It can be quite pretty. I see my little horse today. Don't know why. Well, there's still blossoms on those trees a bit. They just look a little drab, but maybe that's just because they're wet. And the sky is drab. Again, the long low building straight ahead with the yellow on it is the Saskatchewan Express, which is a performing group. They audition and have a touring group of young people that go to fairs and events all over the province in the summer, usually. And then they also have, musical theater classes and dance classes and that sort of thing. And a theater where the gym was in this old school, which I've never performed in, but Regina Musical Theater, which I have a strong connection to as two-time past president, I guess. Past president anyway, and have performed with them many times. They did 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee in the theater there, when the gym used to be the gym. And a wonderful performance it was, even though I wasn't in it. Here in our park. See, now the jacket is feeling kind of warm. Hi, Yoba. You take the moon and you take the sun, you take everything. That seems like fun. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but at least I know you found me. Sounds like a song, but not one I'm familiar with. So far, I don't feel I'm at risk of being rained on before I get home, so that's good. The only reason two reasons I don't walk in the rain. One is I'd get wet, but the other is that the gimbal would get wet, and I don't think it's waterproof in any way. The iPhone apparently is quite water resistant. Okay, I have no choice but to walk through the grass, which may, and it's pretty short, so hopefully my feet don't get too wet. There's the creek ahead of us now. A bit muddy here, but I can mostly avoid that. So there's the Saskatchewan Street Bridge, which I have gone under before. There's the creek, looking a bit ruffled with the wind blowing right now. Now that I'm walking into the wind, I feel cooler again. Whoops. Creek is quite high right now. Higher than on some previous walks here. I don't know if that's because of the rain. They opened up the dam spillway a bit more. Geese, there's always geese. Yeah, the creek is quite a bit higher than the last time I walked this way, which was just Monday, so it's not like we had really heavy rain or anything, so. But again, it's controlled by the spillway out of the lake, so if they wanted to lower the lake levels a little, then the creek goes up down this way. I'll stick to the path. The unofficial path looks quite wet. So if there's anybody on Facebook seeing this, I think Yoba was on YouTube, although I can't quite tell because of where it is on the screen. But if you're on Facebook, check in and let me know if you can hear me, or if I'm doing a silent walk again. Perhaps people would prefer a silent walk. Maybe I talk too much. I'm sure I'm utterly fascinating. You know, there's still flowers showing up, so I don't think the rain's been heavy enough to beat them off of the various plants that grow them. It's an awkward temperature. My ears are cold because it is 3 degrees, but I know if I put my hat on, I'd be way too warm. The coat is feeling warm because I'm walking. If I open it up though, I won't be able to close it again. So maybe it has 2 layers, at least I can open up the outer zipper maybe, make it a little cooler. It's a leather jacket, which I quite like, but I always thought leather jackets would be tough, and I have 2 of them, and both of them seem to, if you catch them on something, they rip like paper. And I don't know how, I think one of them at least is it this one? I think the one I'm wearing is sheepskin. And, you know, how do sheep manage with such fragile skin? I think the other one is calves leather, and it's just as prone to ripping, so I always thought they'd be tough. They're certainly not as tough as a good old nylon shell. Heading to the footbridge. 2 footbridges we will be over today. It's across to the other side of the creek and then back again. Assuming I go that way, which I think I will. As I said, parts of the province are getting snow. I was kind of hoping I'd get one more walk in the snow, but I think we're going to get rain. Maybe tonight when it's below freezing, if it keeps going, we might get some snow. But whether it'll be enough to turn it white or not tomorrow, I don't know. Tomorrow is my walk around the lake day, which I will do if the weather permits. But I wouldn't be able to start until a bit later, so even if we get overnight snow, it's likely to have melted before I go out. But we'll see. I could be wrong. So, as I always do, I'll stop and take a look down the creek on either side here. Green and wet on that side. And on this side, it's wet and green. Very different. Okay, this should take me back into the breeze again, which will cool me off. Again, if you're there and haven't said hi, say hi. I always like that. Especially if you're on Facebook. I want to know if I've got sound, but I may not find out till I get home and check it. And again, it's nothing I seem to have any control over. It seems to be a Facebook issue. Well, there's been quite a bit of water. I mean, a big puddle. So the rise in the creek is entirely due to the extra rain we've had. Well, to a certain extent it is, no matter what. I guess I did hear it raining pretty hard for a while. Mostly it's just been showers. $1 billion rain, somebody called it, coming right when farmers need it. Or at least farmers need it. I don't know if it ever comes right when farmers need it. They always seem to be something not quite right with the weather if you're a farmer. Several people taking advantage of the gap between showers. in there. Horseshoe pitches over here. I don't think I've ever seen anybody playing horseshoes though. It's a game I associate with my uncles and the old guys when I was a kid. And we went to visit relatives in Missouri and Texas and places like that. I played it once or twice, but I don't even remember the rules, except you're trying to get the horseshoe around the post. I'm sure the game began when there were a lot more horseshoes around than there are now. Now you probably have to buy your horseshoes. Instead of, just having some because they used to be on your horse. Well, looks like I'm going to get away with not getting rained on. Hi. So far, only one person has checked in with me on this walk, which was great, but say hi if you're there. It's a shame because without the sun out, I can see the screen so clearly. I can actually read it without having to find a shady spot and squint at it for a minute or two. Quite a large group coming my way now. So this is the baseball diamond, quite a nice one with stands and dugouts and concessions and clubhouse and all that stuff. Hi. Oh, hello, there's somebody else. Theodore, welcome. Walking between the showers here. It's been raining most of the day, but I saw in the hourly forecast I could hopefully avoid the rain, so far so good. Got about 20 minutes to go till I'm home, so I think I will escape inclement weather. Getting quite warm now. It's still only 3 degrees, but it feels a lot warmer after I've been walking for most of an hour. Open up the jacket again. Everything is so much greener with just this little bit of rain. It's amazing how quickly plants seem to respond. It's been so dry since the snow melted. We hadn't had much precipitation. Yeah, I get the feeling some petals have been rained off, unfortunately. Oh, we have to go down into the waterfall park because the waterfall's running. It's never been running when I've been here before. So we will take a little side trip. Hi, Kirk. Yes, everything is, with a little bit of rain we've had here. Oh, it looks muddy. I can see from footprints, so I'll try to stay on some grass. It's suddenly gotten a lot greener. And of course, the leaves are getting closer to being fully out. So I've walked through Waterfall Park here several times, and there hasn't been a waterfall yet, but there it is. So let's go take a look. It's not a real waterfall. Well, it's a real waterfall, but it's not a natural waterfall. It's basically a fountain. It looks like a waterfall, but makes for a nice spot down in here. And then there's a little kind of a creek, not really. Doesn't exactly flow, but Yeah, so there's the waterfall that I've walked by so many times. When I first started, it was just, this pool was frozen. Now it's been cleaned up and nice to see. Another sign of spring and summer here. Popular place for wedding pictures down here. Look from this side. You can go up there and out. I do make a point that don't drink it, although it actually says on potable water at the moment, not non, because it is just recycled, so it's like a fountain. Water just goes around and around. Topped up periodically due to evaporation, I presume. It'll probably be my thumbnail, that nice picture of the waterfall. So it was worth coming out today, even with the threat of rain. Even with it being 3 degrees. My brother, who is mayor of Coots, Alberta, border town, little tiny border town, posted a picture of his front yard, and they had enough snow to turn everything white. Same system, but it seems like unless it turns to snow tonight, so far I think we've just gotten rain. There could have been some mixed snow and rain, and I just didn't see it, of course. I've often said on these walks that I've seen it snow as late as Victoria Day and Victoria Day weekend, and sure enough, it's Victoria Day weekend and there was a threat of snow, even though it was 30 degrees on Monday or Tuesday. So that's the next footbridge we're headed to over there. Regina Avenue over there. You take that road, go down to the right, and it takes you straight to the airport. Regina International Airport. Which it is, but you know, it's a small international airport. I think it has, what, 8 gates? 6 gates? Maybe 8. Alright, we go over this footbridge. And we're getting quite close back home. This is a shorter walk than some, but the risk of rain was always there, so I thought I should not push it out too far. Take the traditional look up and down the creek here. Just like the other spot where I looked at the creek. In one direction it's wet and green, and in the other direction it's green and wet. Totally different. I'll see what the top of the dike looks like. It's gravel, so I can probably walk on it without worrying about mud. Yeah, it should be okay. So we'll go along here. As the leaves come out, this becomes kind of a nice green tunnel here. People's backyards on this side. Comes to a dead end if you follow it all the way. Because it comes up to where the Albert Street Bridge is, and you can't get off of it down there because there's just houses, backyards on one side, and no way onto the bridge. So So where I came up yesterday, showing off this nice blooming tree. It doesn't look like it's lost too many petals with the rain. It's prettier yesterday in the sun. Looks like they've got a nice little garden going down there. Not much of a gardener myself. We have a veggie trug, which we plant a few things in. But, and we have some flower pots, but we have a friend who's a terrific gardener, has a wonderful garden, big one. But it's not something that's native to my family, let's say, because we tended to rent places and my mother had arthritis and she couldn't garden. And as a kid, she grew up in the country and had to garden, you know, because they relied on the food from the garden. And so for her, gardens were never a hobby. They were hard work, chores that she was required to do. So she was perfectly happy to stop gardening once the opportunity arose. I'm going to go down to the last staircase instead of taking this one I just went by, which I often use. So the park continues on both sides of the, well, it's more of a park on that side versus just the top of the dike over here, flood control. There was a major flood over here on this side a few years before I came to Regina, maybe 10 years. And a lot of this, I don't know what this looked like before that, but I'm sure this must have gone up after that. If this gets topped by the water, we're all in deep trouble. As high as this is. The water goes that way, and then there's a berm on the other side of it as well to offer flood control, should it go in that direction. And I have seen water in those lawns just across the river there. And there's been a big snowfall in the winter, and then the melt. It's usually right after the snow melts and the ice breaks that the flooding happens. I think this house here, which you can't really see through the trees, is the one that used some of the building materials left over from a big hotel they intended to build in the early part of the 20th century that went broke. So it was sort of, you know, at the girders and foundation kind of level. So, and it never got any further than that. And if I remember from my book, Historic Walks of Regina and Moose Jaw, this house down here, which has a stone foundation, uses some of the building materials from that old hotel, which should have been on the corner of College and Albert, where the Royal Saskatchewan Museum is now. Actually taking off my gloves, I'm getting warm enough now. This is Angus Boulevard. There's an Angus Boulevard, an Angus Street, and Angus Crescent. Because somehow Mr. Angus got named, multiple things named after him. We live on Angus Crescent, so that's where we're headed. Only about 5 more minutes here. Most of the houses here are probably built in the teens and 20s. So everything around here is getting close to 100 years old, if it isn't already. Except for the new ones, of course. We don't have a lot. I don't know about on this street there's anything that looks brand new. They all look like older houses that maybe have been re-stuccoed, like over there. Our Crescent has a couple of brand new ones. But most of them are still sort of the original vintage. And a few years ago, the kind of home and garden type of magazines in the States, named our neighborhood one of the best old house neighborhoods in North America. Old houses are great, except of course they often have problems that have to be looked after. The one next door to us that we found the neighbors who have been there for 50 years or something, or have left, and they move into higher level of care. And so it's been on the market, and I hear that there's a conditional offer on it, and my suspicion is because it's on a corner lot, great lot, the house is really old and nothing's been done to it recently, I suspect they're going to tear that one down and we'll have something brand new on that corner, which will be very weird for us. Davin School straight ahead, where my daughter went to elementary school. So this is our crescent. I'll walk down this side for a change. This one is actually brand new, but nicely matches the neighborhood, except for being much bigger than most of the original houses are. And again, you got these lovely old elms here. Every now and then one gets cut down, but they're doing pretty good. They give us that nice canopy over the street. Okay, well, this is close enough to home, so thanks for watching. If you watch live or if you're watching the recording, thanks for that too. Don't know about tomorrow. We'll see what the rain does, but at some point I'll be back. Bye for now.